This conversation was wrapping up the month of love, self-love, and February. However, it was supposed to be released last year, and I'll tell you, nothing bothers me more than it taking forever for me to finish something. But such is life, and we can give each other and ourselves some grace and gratitude. My guest today is Cece Edison. She is a health coach and a speaker, and she lives what she coaches. She is going to give you encouragement that it is possible to eat a cookie and be healthy. Enjoy. Welcome to Hill Talks Midlife Podcast for your body, mind, spirit, and business. As an occupational therapist turned entrepreneur, I have done a lot of learning, and my hope is to share these incredible people that I've met along the way with you so that we can laugh, learn, and grow together. I am your host, Hillary Baggett of Community Bloom and the Women's Midlife Network, and I'm truly glad you're here. Today, I get to welcome Cece Edison. She is a health and wellness coach. Try to say that 5 times fast. And she's going to share about her personal journey and experience in changing her life, her habits, and how that has impacted her energy. I just love talking with her. We actually met at a Planning Roots conference encouraging women in their faith back in DC years ago. And I got to observe this whole transformation. So enjoy Cece's story. And I hope you'll like and enjoy as much as I did. So Cece was born in Dallas, Texas, so you might hear a little bit of a draw, and being raised in North Carolina. And the more I talk to Cece, the more my Southern accent will come out. You're going to see how she is changing careers and reinventing herself in this midlife. So much awesomeness. So welcome, Cece.
Thank you, Hillary. I really appreciate you just giving me an opportunity to share today I'm so passionate about. I love being able to help people who struggle with weight loss and really enjoy helping women our age, middle age, that are struggling with this. So, I'll just tell you a little bit about myself. After getting to age 50 and realizing the things that I used to do weren't working anymore, I had to make some changes. I became a health coach because I lost 40 pounds. And do you think I could keep that to myself? Absolutely not. I began to think of all these people that were on my heart that I wanted to help to get healthy and to help them with their struggles with weight loss. So on the left, I was 175 pounds. My knees were hurting. My feet were hurting. I was standing behind people in photos and I was not able to shop in my closet. That was kind of depressing. I sort of adopted a mindset that maybe this is just what I'm supposed to be receiving in middle age. Maybe this is what it's all about. I began to tell my story on Facebook. Many of my clients have struggled with excess weight loss, especially those that are in menopause. Now, prior to working with me, those clients had kind of given up on finding a feasible solution to help them. So today I want to briefly discuss weight gain as it relates to menopause. Now, if you're not really sure if you are in menopause, I've listed some symptoms here that are kind of typical in the phases of menopause. Irregular periods, vaginal dryness, hot flashes, chills, night sweats, sleep problems, mood changes, and weight gain. Now, if you are experiencing any of these symptoms or have experienced these symptoms, you could possibly be in menopause. But to really be sure, you want to check with your healthcare provider and not make a self-diagnosis, because some of these could be related to other health issues. Now, I just want to give you just a little bit about me. I was always kind of skeptical about menopause because I never heard anything good about it. Well, I ran into a situation just recently, within the past 6 months, realized I had developed uterine fibroids. And so my doctor called me in and gave me some treatment options. One was surgery. Don't want to be cut on. The other option was to take a shot that would put me into menopause, literally. So I was willing to take that risk because I knew that there were some natural things that I could use to kind of help me with some of these symptoms. And let me tell you, I have experienced every single one of these symptoms here, except for weight gain. And I'm so very thankful that I haven't had to experience weight gain because I have the tools that I've been implementing on the program that I coach. Now, with these symptoms, I want to focus today on weight gain in relation to menopause. Now, there are several factors that can contribute to weight gain in menopause, but hormonal changes is one. When we are in menopause, our ovaries, they stop, or the decrease of hormones that our ovaries produce begins to decrease. And the diminishing estrogen can cause weight loss. Another factor is aging. When we age, our muscle mass decreases. Genetics. Now, if our parents were perhaps overweight or obese, it increases the chances of us being overweight as well. Lifestyle, unbalanced nutrition, lack of sleep, lack of exercise rather, and even too much exercise can also be contributing factors. Just to share a little bit more about my story. When I was in my 20s, 30s, and 40s, I would visit the gym 3 to 5 days a week, and I could kind of manage to keep my weight under control. But I was doing some intense cardio, some intense weight training. Well, that was getting old. And I pretty much ate what I wanted. Didn't have a whole lot of control there. And I actually kind of used to brag, oh, I can eat anything I want and I don't gain weight. Well, guess what? As I started getting closer to my 50s, that formula didn't work anymore. Okay. So I knew I needed to make some changes. What I didn't take into consideration was that I needed to change some habits. Okay. I needed to change my way of thinking. So when I turned 50, I began working with a health coach to help me to lose weight. So of course, because I was successful in losing weight, I wanted to pay it forward and help others as well. I have particularly enjoyed helping women who are menopausal, who have been not so successful and finding a feasible solution for sustained weight loss. Now, the goal of my program is to help clients to get as close as possible to reaching their optimal weight, whether they're in menopause or not. I want them to be as close to their BMI, which is their body mass index. And if you talk with your healthcare provider, they will explain to you that it's important to have a healthy BMI because when you do, that reduces the chance of developing obesity-related diseases such as high blood pressure, diabetes, and high cholesterol. One of the things that I want clients to experience is natural energy instead of artificial energy that is induced by supplements and caffeine. You know, that commercial that says America runs on Dunkin'? That's coffee. We don't want to have that. We don't want to have to depend on that. We want to wake up refreshed every day and feeling revived, having good mental clarity. I want my clients to show up to be the best possible version of themselves. Now, there is no science, there is no magic tool to the program that I use. I use a scientifically proven system that focuses on 4 components. You have a health coach, you have community support, amazing community support. You have education, and you have simple nutrition. Now, as a health coach, I'm your first level of accountability. I'm going to partner with clients to make sure that they follow those programs exactly, that they're fully committed. I'm there to encourage those clients to focus on their why it's important to take your health seriously, why it's important to invest in yourself now, why it's important for you to show up to be the best version of yourself possible. You know, and as a believer, we want to do that because we want to represent Christ well. We want to steward the one temple that he has given us. Community support is the next level of accountability. Now, it's been proven that we tend to be more like the people that we surround ourselves with the most. And who wouldn't want to be surrounded by like-minded individuals with similar goals to cheer you along on your journey to optimal health? Now, our education component helps us create a healthy mindset and habits that will help us to set small, achievable goals, to look at those areas where we are winning. I work with clients to set realistic goals and help them to understand you've got to give yourself credit for what you do accomplish. You know, when we only focus on what's not going well, that brings on so much undue stress, which signals the body to release a hormone called cortisol. This is a stress hormone. And when this hormone is released, the result is stored fat. Proper nutrition is so necessary for a healthy body. There's a misconception out there that in order to lose weight, we should eat less and move more. But when we do not provide adequate fuel for our bodies in the right quantities at the right time and hydrate well, we can't expect our bodies to function properly. Exercise. You notice I did not mention that in one of my 4 main components. However, it is key. Weight loss is 80% nutrition and only 20% motion. Exercising in moderation consistently, 5 to 6 days a week for 20 or 30 minutes over time is going to yield long-term results rather than ramping up intensity 2 or 3 days a week. Now, when we work our bodies too hard and end up recovering for days from soreness, guess what? Our bodies are going to shut down. It's going to go into survival mode. This too will release that pesky little cortisol, which triggers inflammation, which triggers our body to go into survival mode and store fat. That's how our bodies protect themselves. Exercise should not be something that we dread. It should be fun. And that's what we want it to be. We want it to be fun. Exercise should feel good when we're done with it. The bottom line is when we get older, we should be working smarter, not harder when it comes to maintaining our weight. Now, these 2 ladies are very dear friends of mine, and they're also fellow health coaches in menopause. They have been able to maintain their healthy weight. Now, my friend on the left watched me on Facebook for about a year before she decided enough was enough. She wanted to show up a different mom, wife, community servant, and a servant of the Lord. Now, my friend on the right is actually a coach mentor of mine and one of my accountability partners. She and her daughter and her granddaughter, they actually appeared on Good Morning America last year for having lost almost 300 pounds total together. These ladies continue to inspire and help others to learn the importance of getting to a healthy weight. Now, how are these ladies able to manage their weight? They implemented these concepts: proper nutrition, hydration, getting adequate sleep, moderately exercising, and managing their stress. Now, it is so important for us to be in tune with our bodies, especially as we age. We have to move into a different mindset. We have to stop and ask ourselves, what are we doing? Is it serving us well? If we do not think that what we're doing is serving ourselves well, we need to make a change. We have to challenge ourselves to make those choices that promote health and wellness. Now, for me, I am so dedicated to continue to educate myself on a healthy body and a healthy mind. Now, if you are seeking to learn more about letting go of habits that create disease and those things that don't serve you well in the long term, or you just may want to know more about the programs that I have available for you, you're welcome to contact me at any time. I would love to share with you. Now, I don't have a one-size-fits-all program, but we can sit down and we can talk about your goals, what you want to see change with your health. I am happy to work with you, and I want to thank Hillary again for having me here today, just to share a little bit about what I am so very passionate about.
Awesome. Cece, thank you so much. You gave us such a great overview. You kept it from being kind of scary and overwhelming and just welcoming. Your voice is just so soothing to me. I just need a Cece recording to help me unwind at the end of the day. Yeah, we can talk about that, maybe reading some stories so that people can unwind at the end of the day. Well, I know we had several members of Community Bloom that wanted to ask a few questions, and you were so generous to allow us to record this so we can put it inside the community. And thank you for that, so that people, women in midlife are busy. I mean, anybody over the age of 35, you're either working, juggling kids, life happens. And so we're so fortunate when people can either join us live or catch the replay. And thank you for the generosity of sharing your contact information if people have questions, because I had so many questions about health and life coaching and who's the right person for me. And the encouragement you give is so real. So thank you.
Yeah. And there are a number of coaches out there that claim to be a health coach or a life coach, and some combine both. Now, I'm a certified health coach, but I end up doing a lot of life coaching as well. And the reason why, because as you shared earlier, this is a ministry for me. This is so much more about a number on a scale. This is about just that upfront reality of who you are, what God has created you to be, and reminding that person. Sometimes we just need people just to come along beside us, to be a cheerleader, to remind us of our purpose, and just to speak life, speak truth into us. And I do that a lot. I find myself doing that a lot. That is so energizing. That'll make you sit up straight in your seat and forget what you're dealing with, at least for a short amount of time. What a blessing that is for me. And learning to not continue to pour from an empty cistern. We do that as moms, as wives, as servant leaders. Sometimes we can just exhaust ourselves, and we oftentimes, as Christians, believers, servants, what do? We put ourselves on the back burner. But we do have to intentionally do self-care, because if we're no good, then we can't be any good to others, and we don't want to serve out of what's left over. So thank you. Thank you so much.
I love that, Cece, how you brought it back, because February, our theme is, self-love, self-care. And sometimes we think of, well, self-care is just getting up and putting my hair back in yoga pants, which is what I did today. But that's not really the self-care, right? It's what am I doing with my mindset? Am I breathing? Am I drinking my water, which I always try to have it right nearby? And when I went through a health coaching process last year, my goal wasn't to lose weight, but I still ended up losing some and just feeling more energy. And there were things I didn't even know as a healthcare professional about certain foods that I was eating and their impact on me. So I love that there are great health coaches like you out there who also are reaching out to connect with people. And I'm just so grateful that you bring this wealth of knowledge and understanding and experience, because if somebody gets up there and says, well, I was born this way, I eat whatever I want and I don't exercise and I look just like this, that's not really as inspirational as the person that's like, hey, I came from this and now I'm here. And here's the bridge that got me there. And it's just one step at a time to cross it, right?
Yeah. And I'm glad that you brought that up, Hillary. I really focused on a lot today about weight loss in regards to menopause. And one of the things that I wanted to mention is that oftentimes we will assume that just because a person is thin, that they're healthy. And being thin does not necessarily mean that you're healthy. As someone that's thin, you can still struggle with those weight-related diseases like, diabetes, more type 1, hormonal issues, thyroids. There's all kinds of things that we manage, health conditions that a person who is thin may have. Establishing those healthy habits, though, is going to be really key, because when we're resting our bodies, when we're asleep, that's when our body is healing. And if you're not a good water drinker, our bodies can't survive. I remember taking our son to a healthcare provider, who's a naturopath, and we had been on the road for hours. And we took him in just to get it's like a reading that you can get just to find out if anything is out of balance. And she did the scan and she said, has he ever been diagnosed with ADD or bipolar? And I said, no, never. And she said, wait a minute, let me go get him some water. She went and got a bottle of water, made him drink that water. It totally flipped his poles. He has never been diagnosed with any of those conditions, and he's not. But just being dehydrated gave some indications. So just think, a person that goes days and months and years not properly hydrating themselves, what the body is missing. So hydration is so very key. So very key. And when we can teach our little ones to do that early and then they grow up, it's a lot easier for them to do that as adults. But you know what? Our bodies crave water. And when you start giving your bodies what they want, what it desires to make it function well, it's going to ask for more of that. So that's what I love about coaching. I get clients that come and say, I don't like water. I hate drinking water. Really? Okay, so we're going to start with small habits, increasing 4 ounces a day until we get you to where you need to be. And then they end up saying, that's all I want to drink now. I love drinking water, and they might pull out water. I'm just talking about, just makes me want to drink. And that's the thing. When you start, look at you got your water and you start giving it to your body's going to ask for more. It's going to crave more of it. So yes, creating those healthy habits, giving the body what it truly desires to help it to function efficiently.
I love that encouragement. And, sometimes it's just a few weeks transition. Sometimes it's 3 to 6 weeks transition, but how just those little habits, little changes each day, pick one thing in your area of wellness that you want to change and focus on this week. And if that's the thing you want to focus on all month until you're like, okay, now I've got it. The next thing. We need to listen to ourselves because we're taught, it's always better to give than to receive. So you just need to give. And then we're those empty vessels instead of overflowing.
Mm-hmm. And I encourage us as women who are middle-aged, we have to really get in tune with our body. Know your body. You're actually going to know your body better than your doctor. You're going to know those when you're not feeling well. It's not okay to not be feeling well. It just may mean just a few little turns of the corner on nutrition, hydration. Water actually gives you energy. Just get some water. Fresh H2O can make a huge difference.
If we can develop the habit of just having a cup of room temperature water, I know so many of us love ice water. Figure out if you need to put a little squirt of lemon or lime or whatever your fruit flavor is. That's a good idea too.
Mm-hmm. All the things that I was doing in my younger years, they were working. When I got to my 50s, I still tried to keep that same intensity. I was doing HIIT. I went to boot camps, and instead of losing weight, I started gaining weight. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of depressing. It was disappointing because I was thinking the one thing that I used to be able to depend on to help me to get my weight off wasn't working anymore. I'd even developed plantar fasciitis. And so that was really when I began to focus on working with a health coach to establish a good balance. And nutrition is right there at the top. You've got to get that in order. So when you start losing that weight, you're going to feel better. Your body is going to feel permission to be able to let go of that weight. So that's something to definitely consider, minimizing those carbohydrates, increasing your healthy protein, and eating often. Mm. We're taught 3 meals a day. We've got to eat more than that. And they can't be 3 large meals. Incorporating 5 to 6 small meals during the day will sustain your blood sugar. And it also lets your body know, okay, she's not going to starve me, so I'm going to let go of a little bit of that weight. So just by doing that, incorporating those small, frequent meals, increasing your hydration and moderate exercise, that's going to get you winning right there.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Lori. I'm so glad that you shared that. And I always think of you as uber fit. We used to do kickboxing together and we used to play tennis, and my knees gave out on all of that. And I'm like, let's go for a walk on the beach together. That's kind of where my body's at. And I'm like, well, you can't discount walking. It's that consistency, Cece, like you said, of small things often and doing 20 to 30 minutes per day of what's sustainable. And then your body is used to it instead of once or twice a week, I'm going to go really hard and really long. And then you're spending all that time recovering, right?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Well, one of the other questions I had, or one of our members had said, Hey, I wanted to ask about the money barrier, right? Because I think so many people and we as women have difficulty spending money on ourselves. And I think it's such a tough thing to say, hey, I can take this time and this money and this energy to, invest in my own health for this period of time. And it took me a solid 9 months to get around to being able to part with the money. And I realized, oh, you know what? If it's going to change the trajectory of your life and your experience long term, imagine having 10, 20, 30, or 40 more years with these healthy habits to move and feel so much better than spending the money on the things that aren't contributing to my health. But Cece, what is your kind of reply or response when people have the money barrier?
What's more important to you? Investing in your health now or sickness later? I mean, sometimes I do ask those really hard questions. And I remind clients that it's about you. What's most important to you? Investing in your health now or sick care later. Okay. And then also, I remind clients we will invest in what's most important to us. And your health is not something that you can put a price tag on, right?
I see people, I was just in the airport several times this week, and I saw younger and younger people being pushed in wheelchairs or riding the golf carts. And it made me think about what are we doing to ourselves and what has all the advertising done to our mindset of that, yeah, let's do what's fast and easy and convenient. But it's like, oh, what cost or what are we paying? Right? Like that really comes at such a high cost for sure.
Well, yeah, and if you look at most of the commercials, they appeal to the taste buds, or they appeal to right now, right away. I want it now, my way. No one wants to invest the time into what it takes. Everyone wants a quick fix. So, it's a matter of it's all about mindset. You got to change your mindset. Not conforming to the world's way of thinking, because that's what the world is teaching us. If you can't, this is the best, the latest, the greatest to get you the quickest.
Although when you look at it really, and I read some of your details, on average, like losing a pound a week is a healthy amount. It's doable. It's manageable. It's only 3,500 calories difference, right? And so what does that equate to in, moving 500 calories a day? But it still always comes back to the nutritional aspect and what you're consuming, because if for some reason you can't move, depending on weather or pain, but if you do kind of gain that perspective, I love that it's doable. And sometimes, even if you just see progress over the course of 1 month or 2 months, then it's like, hey, I'm doing it. I'm getting it. I'm making a little step towards the goal. One of our friends, mutual friends, who has been a client of yours, reached out and she said, Cece's changed my whole life, because she has been able to, and she was not able to join us today as a testimonial. She's almost hit her goal weight, and it's over 60 pounds she's already lost. I almost didn't recognize her when we last Zoomed. And what a testimony to trusting the person that you're working with, doing the steps and feeling so energetic. Instead of feeling, oh, I'm tired all the time. I thought that was so encouraging.
You know what I was thinking about as you were mentioning that, at the beginning of the year, or maybe around Christmas time, families start thinking about that summer vacation. That's an investment.
Per person, right?
Right. Per person. When you really think about it, if you really want to have an enjoyable time, but if you think about it, what about that family member, possibly the mom or dad, they're focused on the kids having a good time, but they're really thinking about, man, I am not looking forward to walking novels miles on that park because I really don't want to. I don't feel like it. Those parents that pay all that money to get into the amusement park and they park somewhere because it's just too much for their joints and their knees. They're not able to keep up. Boy, what it would look like to show up different as a mom, a dad, to be able to keep up with those kids out there. My kids will tell you in a minute, I'll walk them down in a minute. And they're fine trying to find some place to sit. But I wasn't doing that when I had that plantar fasciitis. which is no longer here because of the 40 pounds off of my body, the inflammation that's not in my body. Isn't that worth the investment?
Even the bragging rights, if you can outlast your kids, right?
That's right. That's right. And the jeans that I'm wearing today are my daughter's, which she doesn't quite like, that I can go in her closet now and grab a pair of her jeans. It's such a good feeling. I mean, I'm in my 50s now and I'm living my best life. I am more, I think I remember telling someone, they were making a compliment about my arms. And I tell you, when I was in my 20s, I worked with a personal trainer and he had me set up on a nutrition plan, but obviously it was not right for my body. The muscle definition that I have now in doing moderate exercise is more than I ever had in my 20s and 30s doing intense cardio and heavy weight training. So it's really been a blessing. It's just about doing research and understanding what your body needs. Everyone is not made the same. As soon as your eyes open in the morning, your brain starts working. It takes energy for your brain to work. Your body is looking for something to burn. And if you don't have any calories in there, you're not going to be working at peak performance. So just think about it. You wake up in the morning, your feet hit the floor, you're burning calories. What are you burning? There's nothing there. So if you wait until midday to start eating, your body is waiting for something to grab hold to, and it's not going to stop grabbing until it's satisfied. So that's why when we finally do eat, we sit down and we want to eat everything in sight because our body's been in starvation mode. So now it's trying to make up for all that time that there was nothing there. So it's important that you start fueling the body. What you used to hear, that breakfast is the most important, it really is. We don't want to send our little ones off. That's why those programs in school where they're able to feed those poverty-stricken kids a breakfast, those studies are right. It says they are performing better on tests when they come to school and they have a full tummy. It's so important to educate yourself on this because you're passing on to the next generation those concepts.
So much gratitude, Cece. I mean, you've walked us through with this great encouragement. You know, we are individuals. We are worth investing the time into just, and we don't have to do it alone. I think that's the biggest thing. And I know your coaching programs and so many out there. That's why people make those changes when they do invest the time and energy and money into, spending some time and energy to get that support, to get that accountability, to get that encouragement. And it's dosing that, so that you're getting it regularly. Like, hey, when you're struggling, reach out, you can do this. Here's some information, get in touch with your body and we can do it. So.
Right. And that's mind, body, spirit. It's okay to acknowledge when you need help. Person may be struggling in other areas, stress, just life. Go see a counselor. That is okay. If you're struggling with your body, go see a nutritionist. Make that investment, whatever that is. Got to start here. Have to start releasing some of those myths and some of those stigmas and taboos, those things that keep us limited. Limited thinking is really the underlying issue with a lot of our health concerns, what we believe.
Well, awesome. Well, I think we definitely should end on that super positive note and encouragement. And I thank you for being the example of not just what could be, but doing the hard work, what is. And I am grateful, everyone at Community Bloom, all of our members that are watching this later, we are so grateful for you, Cece. So thanks so much for reaching out. I'll make sure, and we've got a free handout to send out to people. I'll send it out to our email list. I'll post it inside the community and people can know that there's support out there and there's answers and the right person for you is out there too.
Absolutely. Thank you again, Hillary.
Bye.
Well, there's so much to be grateful for this time with Cece, for her being able to open up and be vulnerable about the challenges that she faced with her energy level and making those good choices. But now she experiences it all as freedom, that she can eat a cookie, that she can move, and that she can celebrate her children as they grow up and succeed, and the love of her sweet husband. So I loved her story, and I hope you will check out Cece. And there's more information over on our blog and certainly in our membership community. If you didn't know, Community Bloom has a private membership community, and we allow our members to tune in live to ask questions, and they get the replay the same week. It's really great. So check it out. Midlife women, I have a question for you. What is it that you are looking for in your next chapter of life? What's your great purpose? What sparks joy or puts a smile on your face? Let's keep it simple, right? So I'm curious, if you had a burning passion or felt like you were put on this mission, what would it look like for you? Well, not everybody has that clarity. Sometimes it's helpful to come together and brainstorm it. Sometimes it's helpful to just meet someone else who's maybe just one step ahead of you. Maybe you can borrow the courage that it seems like others have. Well, that's the inspiration behind creating this Women's Midlife Network. I just want women to know that they can do that next hard thing, whether it's starting a podcast, whether it's writing a workshop, giving an interview, whether it's learning some new technology. These are the things that can overwhelm us for sure. So my encouragement to you is to keep listening to these interviews with the founding members, because they are doing exactly what many of you are dreaming of. We're making it happen together, and we're encouraging each other. I am booking an appointment with Andrea, and I am going to co-author a book with her and maybe some of our other members. This is pretty exciting stuff. Are you curious about writing for a blog? Do you want to know more about essential oils? Would you attend a workshop to make your homemade, all-natural skin and hair care products? Do you want to get better sleep? Do you want to figure out how to be less stressed? Let's move forward together, because your time has come. Know that for sure. I hope you're subscribed to our list at info@communitybloom.org so you can get the special discounts on our workshops and special networking mixers. And don't worry, I really don't like sending a lot of emails, so sign up and join us. Now's the time, and share with your friends. Thanks so much. This is Hillary Baggett with Hill Talks Podcast. Listen in and know you are not alone. And Community Bloom, the Women's Midlife Network. Music is March of the Dragonfly by Belmont Club. And as always, we hope you hear the love. Until next time. Wondering what to do next? Here's your call to action. Join our monthly newsletter at info@communitybloom.org. Free subscriptions for all podcasts on Apple, Spotify, Audible, iHeartRadio, and wherever you get your podcasts. This is Hillary Baggett with Hill Talks Podcast. Listen in and know you are not alone. And Community Bloom, the Women's Midlife Network. Music is March of the Dragonfly by Belmont Club. And as always, we hope you hear the love. Until next time.